Hello, everybody. This is Tommy Breedlove, the USA Today and Wall Street Journal best-selling author of the book Legendary and founder of the Legendary Life Movement. And in my episode for the Business Growth Architect Show, I will share with you how to not only be legendary in your business, financials, and success, but also in your relationships, your life, and how to be world-class and elite in all that you do so that we don't have to compromise our business or our lives. And when we leave this earth, we will have a heart full of gratitude, no regrets, and have made massive impact, not only on ourselves, our businesses, but those people who matter the most.
Welcome to the Business Growth Architect Show. I am Beate Chelette. I am the host. I want to welcome you to our globally top 10% ranked podcast, where you will hear from industry experts about the strategies that are working right now to unlock hidden opportunities in any market so that you can grow your authority and scale your impact. And now let's get started with the show. Welcome, everyone. This is your host, Beate Chelette, the Growth Architect. Today, we are going to talk about how to become legendary. With me today is Tommy from the Legendary Life Movement. Tommy, I'm so excited that you are here. Welcome to the show.
We've had so many good conversations prior to this. I cannot wait to see what this episode holds, Beate. So thank you for having me.
Well, it's a pleasure. Yes. And this is like one of those things, behind the scenes really quick. It's like when, I met somebody who was on the show in person and he says, you got to talk to my friend Tommy. And then Tommy and I talked, and then Tommy made me talk to other friends of him. Next thing you know, we are really connected and having just a blast. So I want to share this. Tommy, tell people what you do.
Yeah, absolutely. I was talked out of walking away at the very top of my high-end financial career to go start a Legendary Life movement. And it was by request. How cool is it that you can build a movement and company and write a book, Legendary, around people requesting you to do this? And I'll tell you how it started is I went through a massive life transformation at 36. I went from one of the most hated people at my firm. I was really financially successful, really had the corner office, the shiny object, the shiny cufflinks and the nice car. But on the inside, my marriage was crumbling. I still felt alone, still felt worried, insecure. And, I could be talking to 1,000 people. I was just angry. And I decided to transform my life at 36 years old. And the tangible results of that, and this will go into what I do really quickly. The tangible results when the changes I made by investing in myself first. I'm talking about my heart, my mind, and my soul muscle. And really prioritizing me. My income doubled, my network 10x. I went from one of the most hated people in my firm to one of the most beloved. And all of these entrepreneurs, executives, and really ambitious, high achieving men and women started asking me for coffee or a drink or to go for a walk. And I'm like, hey, we're going to do some business, because I never planned on leaving the financial consulting and M&A world. And really they wanted to know what I did and how I did it. What drug are you taking? Or can I have some of that and help me be more fulfilled? Because I went from arrogant, which is insecurity on steroids, to humble, to peaceful, to confident, to courageous, but a quiet confidence. And they saw the changes in my life. They saw the changes in my tangible results. They saw the changes in my marriage, and they wanted more of that. So I decided to walk away at the top of my career and write a book that became a Wall Street Journal and USA Today bestseller, Legendary. There it is. And we've created a movement around the principles of the book for high achieving, ambitious entrepreneurs, executives, or aspiring entrepreneurs and executives. And we want people not only to be elite in business, to be elite in success and elite in money, but we want them to be elite in life, elite in their relationships, and really have it all, not compromise one for the other, not compromise your business, your money, or your success for the other side, and not compromise your relationships, your family, your time, and your friends on the relentless pursuit of more and win. And so we're a movement for high achievers to do business and life together in retreats, experiences, masterminds, and it's a whole ecosystem of high achievers. And we talked about EO. We got a lot of EO, YPO, Tiger 21 members, and it's just another great group of humans to come and have authentic conversations, to lean in and be more successful in business, more successful in leadership, and God willing, more successful in our relationships, our friendships, and our time. That's what we are.
Yeah, I really liked this because I think that the hardest thing for an entrepreneur is to kind of come to terms with how much time or how little time we have. And we start because we have these crazy big ideas. And that's what is entrepreneurship. It's like everybody else says it can't be done. And then somebody like us who didn't get the memo just did it anyway. But then we find that we get really hooked to the adrenaline, or we get hooked to the doing more, the being better. And then we attract, these partners or people in our life that what we want. But instead of increasing our success or satisfaction level, it sinks. Why is that?
I think there's a lot of different reasons. I think no matter where you are in your entrepreneurial or business journey, you're always measuring yourself to the ideal. And the problem with that is it's like swimming to a horizon. You'll never, ever, never get there. You get your first $100,000 as a business owner, then you get your first million, then you get your first 5, 10, 100, and you're always measuring yourself as a human, as a leader, to an ideal. And the ideal is based on all these external metrics. And we're always constantly comparing ourselves to others who are either farther ahead. It's a never ending journey. And when you're doing that, we're in a place of not good enough. I'm still not there. When I have this, or when I have more of this, or when I get here, I will be happy, fulfilled, and I will prioritize it. And I think our priorities are off. I think high driven people put themselves last. And that's the exact opposite thing that you have to do. I think we have to lead, respect, and love ourselves first fully. I'm talking about a humble confidence in your heart, your mind, and your soul. So I think that's number one. Number two, I think we suck at prioritizing the main things. I don't think we make the main thing the main thing. And number three, we have three assets. Ourselves, number one, and that's where we got to spend at least an hour a day on minimum. I'm talking about mental, emotional, spiritual, and health strength. Number two is our time. I think we're really bad at prioritizing our time and the important things in our time. And I think we become really inefficient. And number three, I think our third asset, so one is us, two's time, three is our significant other. And they're either going to be our biggest asset or our biggest liability. And a lot of us, including yours truly, have taken those people for granted and not prioritized them. And it's about quality over quantity, but taking them for granted and almost losing everything on that pursuit of more and win. So I think it's a stew of a lot of different things. And it all comes down to self-confidence. It all comes down to self-awareness. And the number one failure in leadership is self-awareness, truly knowing thyself and going from ignorance to awareness to transformation in all phases of your lives. Because I think as high achievers, we think, well, when I get to 100 million or a billion or whatever your number is, $10, it doesn't really matter what it is. I'll be happy. Well, that's BS, because wherever you go, there you are. And so if you're not happy now, you're not going to be happy when you have more, because you're not happy now. Now, money's important. I'm a money guy. I come from the money industry, and I think money will help you make impact. It'll help you experience life. It helps you make great change in this world, but it's also a magnifying glass. And if you're unhappy, unfulfilled, and you're not the same person at home that you are at work, you're going to be that same person, just with more money and a bigger magnifying glass. That was a long answer, wasn't it?
Well, yes and no. In your book, chapter 11, you talk about cultivating unconditional self-love. And in my book, Happy Woman, Happy World, I call what you just talked about the superhuman paradox. And the paradox is that I set a goal, and then I forget that I set that goal, so that when I get there, I go, well, I have the car, but I still don't have X. I still don't have the bigger house. And so I just disregard the goal that I just had. And I set myself another goal. And then it's another car and another house and another whatever. And so we're in this perpetual paradox of the unachievable. But in your book, you talk about, and you just said this, that everything has to do with how I feel about myself. Can we share with some of the crazy busy people that are listening to us in our beehive? Can we share, how do I get to like myself or love myself unconditionally more?
Here's the bad news. You can't. However, it gets a whole lot better. And when you look in it, I'm going to give you the actual simple tactics, and there's a bunch of them. So go ahead. If you're listening, stop your car or stop jogging and start writing, or come back and re-listen to it. So I'm going to give you the actual tools. And here's the goal. The goal is head up, shoulders back. The goal is when you look in the mirror, that you feel confident and courageous, and you see something that you're proud of and that you love and that you respect, and not something that lacks. That is the goal. That the goal is humble courage and confidence. And so the number one thing I would tell these super busy humans, that if you're super busy, you're probably not as prioritized as you need to be. And I promise you, if I audited your life, I could find holes and inefficiencies everywhere, but that's a whole different podcast. The number one thing that I would say is you got to celebrate yourself. Let's think about that. And us entrepreneurs and high achievers and ambitious people, we don't like to celebrate ourselves. And like you said, we're moving to the next thing. Yours truly, I'm guilty as charged. I am guilty. I have to practice this stuff every day, because I'm guilty as charged. Every day. So the first thing is celebrate how far you've come. Think about how far you've come in one day. how much you accomplished in one day, and then take it to a week. And when we're celebrating what we've accomplished and who we've become and how much we've grown, we're in a place of self-love. We're present and we're celebrating. And that's on the abundant side of the spectrum, as opposed to, oh my God, I didn't do X, Y, and Z. And that's on the fear lack side. So the first thing I would say is every night, and we do it as a team, by the way, the Legendary Life Movement does this every day as a team. What are we grateful for? What are we going to accomplish today? And what did we accomplish yesterday? And we're celebrating. And we're talking about, and the number two thing I would say is be grateful for every breath of every moment of every second of your life, because be grateful to yourself. One thing that we have a problem doing, and I do a formal practice. I literally, this is going to sound narcissistic, but no, it's me rewiring my heart and mind. Thank you, Tommy, for being a loving, patient, present husband. Thank you, Tommy, for slowing down, not taking things personally, and moving forward. So I'm thanking myself through gratitudes, through intentions, through affirmations. And what happens is, the problem is, here's the other bad news, is our subconscious is running the show. So it's like, why can't I don't want to eat a pint of ice cream, but damn it, I just ate a pint of ice cream. That's because your subconscious is running the show. So what we've got to do is reprogram our hearts and our minds and build new habits every single day to get stronger in confidence, stronger in courage, stronger in self-love, stronger in self-respect, and honestly, stronger in self-esteem. I guarantee every single human being listening to this podcast is probably world-class and badass in their craft, including the two here. I guarantee you we are. But I want you to be elite, not only confident in your craft, I want you to be confident in you and that self-esteem. So here's some tips. Number one, celebrate every day. At the end of the day, when you close your eyes, what did you accomplish today? 3 things. Give yourself some self-love and self-gratitude. Do some gratitudes. Do them out loud with your spouse, because I promise you it will bring you intimacy that you've never had before. Number 2, eliminate all of the toxic people out of your life. You got to eliminate them. Don't have any, fire them, fire a friend. It doesn't mean you don't love them. You got to get out of it. Number 3 is gratitudes. We talked about it. Have a formal gratitude practice. Number 4, do intention setting and affirmation. Think of it as short-term and long-term goals. The affirmation, I am a good leader. I am a good father. I am worthy, lovable, enough, and valuable. When we write those things down over and over and we reread them, there's my Southern English, then all of a sudden our subconscious mind is being rewired. We got to go into forgiveness, live your core values, meditate. Meditate helps you be proactive and not reactive. And if you work on yourself every single day, a minimum of an hour, hopefully 90 minutes, I'm talking about health, your strength, mental fortitude, emotional fortitude, spiritual fortitude. Read books like Legendary. Read books like Think and Grow Rich. Read. There's 100 different books out there. That's the goodness. And apply that knowledge into your life. And eventually you will you will put yourself in the top 10%, but you got to show up for yourself in order to show up for others. You got to lead yourself in order to lead others. And it's about becoming self-aware. And once you become aware, you can't become aware of your shortcomings, your unknown potential, and where you need to go and why you're not happy. And then go from awareness to transformation by doing all the tips I just told you, and eventually mastery. If you do it enough and build the habits every single day to be elite, you will start standing with courage. And then you go from mastery to leadership, and leadership is teaching others to do it. So the last thing I would say is think about something in your life that you wish was better. Is it your relationship? Is it your money? Is it more success? Is it, man, I hate that negative voice in my head? Mm-hmm. Is it all of those things? That's where you need to attack. That's where you need to build new habits. And it just simple daily little steps a day, every single day will pay compounding interest in your happiness, your fulfillment, your peace of mind. And by the way, most of you ambitious, high achieving, driven humans like this guy here, like the other person on the other side of this podcast, is we're still going to do our business most of the time. But when it's time to do life, when it's time to do relationship, when it's time to do family, when it's time to do fun, make the main thing, and make it quality over quantity. By spending an hour a day, just full intimacy, full presence, full communication with your spouse, an hour a day with your kids, and 30 minutes a day in fun, just laughter and letting go, and not distracted by your phone, not distracted by your text, not distracted by your email, being fully where your feet are, quality over quantity, and good communication, good, just pure being there and leading with love, your whole life will change. So I'll get off my high horse now.
Wow, that's very powerful. And let's continue this in just a second, right after this message. Are you looking for the hidden opportunities for you in this market? Or are you simply wanting to figure out what is your unique differentiation factor that makes clients want to work with you and not your competitors? If this resonates, I want to invite you to go to uncoverysession.com. and schedule your 15-minute complimentary uncovery session with one of our business growth advisors that will take you through what your number one business growth blocker is, what you can do to remove it, and what your very best next step should be. And now let's get back to the show. Beate here with Tommy, and you just gave us a whole list of it's almost like a self-care protocol, right? If I would put it in a simplified version of making myself really a priority. What I heard is that what you're talking about has a lot to do with responsibility for my actions. Is it possible that if I am getting more satisfaction out of my work because it can't talk back, it gives me back what I put in? Is it an escapism for some of us so we
100%.
don't have to do all the other stuff?
100%. And it's numbing. It's just another way of numbing. We're builders. Every one of our strengths is also our kryptonite. I promise you, we could always, as leaders, I feel like we have a responsibility. We've got to realize no one owes us anything. Not a single human being on this earth owes us anything. We either earn it or we don't. And if you're numbing out for 15 hours a day on your business or 16 hours, there are seasons that we have to do that. And hopefully it's because the work, there's so much work out there and you're building your team and if you're in that season, own that season, but you can't do it at your own expense. What you don't want to look at, because you are the number one asset. And there's a lot of ways to numb out, but you have to participate in your own rescue. No one's coming to save you. Your business won't save you. Only you can save you. And so in order to be the most productive, best leader you can be, you have to lead yourself first. There's no accountability partner that can do it for you.
No, there really isn't. And our spouses or our partners generally at this point are pretty ticked off with us because we are putting everything first but them. They're going to be pushing from a different direction. So we now established that if I am, let's call it workaholic for the lack of better words, right? Or let's say I'm so passionate about what I do that I don't want to do anything else. I'm going to get all my self-esteem, all my satisfaction out of my business because I can't figure it out. How do I start? Do I have to be like an alcoholic? Or in your book, you share what happened to you at 19 years old or 18 years old, where you were numbing so hard that you did something and then that really was a hard stop. Do we have to go through a hard stop, rock bottom, or can we catch ourselves?
You can absolutely catch yourself, and that's the goal. But most of the people don't engage in this type of work, true, self-revolution, personal development, knowing thyself, because we're not too fond of what we look in the mirror. And trust me, I almost lost everything at 36 years old. I mean, everything, my firm, my marriage, my network, because of poor decisions I was making. Because when the money, the status, the respect, and those things are important, especially to a big portion of society. But when those didn't fulfill me or make me happy, and I had a lot of them, I reached to other things to make me happy, to fill that hole inside. And the truth is, I was the only one that could fill that hole inside. And so it was through discovery of work. And you do not have to get there. But I want to point out something you said. You made it's a huge comment. Here's the problem with our respect, our businesses, our titles, our family, our money, all the shiny things we own or want to own, all of those things, the things you're putting so much importance into, especially your business career, your title, it can all go away like that in a second. It could be a family member, it could be a child, it could be a business, totally outside of your control with economic conditions, technology.
Reside in COVID, yeah.
Yeah, COVID, somebody drives a plane into a building, who knows? It can go away like that. And when you don't have that little pillar to stand on, where are you? You're crumbling because you're getting your self-esteem out of what you do, not who you are. You're getting your self-esteem out of something that can be taken from you. And so the point is then you will really crumble and turn to whatever other numbers are out there. And there's a million of them. And by the way, mass media and the other, they want you to numb. They don't want you to have personal accountability and extreme ownership. They don't want you to be happy and fulfilled. They want you to feel like a victim or entitled. And so the point being is, I don't want all of the beauty about you high achievers and ambitious is that you're going to do great things. You're going to make impact. You're going to hopefully cure the world's problems through business and through employment and through doing great things. But you can't do it at your expense. And you have to be as strong and as powerful and as fulfilled and as peaceful and as ready, because it's not if life happens, it's when. It's not if economic crisis happens, it's when, or world crisis. And you got to be standing there fully confident, fully powered, running to the fire, not from it. And if you're putting everything you have into your business and career and it gets taken away from you, the consequences of that, and they won't know it until it happens. And then it might be too late. And then you hear about all of the horrible things we're hearing about all over society right now. And I want people to be complete. I want to shift the paradigm, prioritization of yourself. And it's the most selfless thing that you can do, to lead, love, and respect yourself first so that you can lead, love, and respect others fully. It will make you more successful. It will get you there faster. It will help you get more money. It will help you get in front of more people. People buy confidence. They love it, not arrogance. They hate it. That's loud and insecure, but they love confidence. And the more confident you are, the more you look in the mirror and say, man, I'm really proud of that person. The more you honor your core values and the more you prioritize the things that really matter in life, including your business, the more happy, fulfilled. And at the end of the day, I want everybody, I mean this, is no one's going to remember that business deal. No one's going to read your resume at your funeral. And when your last breath on this earth comes, I want you to have a heart full of gratitude and no regrets. And I promise you, if you just work yourself into and make a lot of money and come home to an empty house and no friendships, no self-esteem, you're just going to be a rich person. That's just a cliche. I want you to be elite in business and success and finance, but I don't want you to do it at the compromise of everything that matters.
One of the things that I see a lot, right? Because my book is about the playbook of the other side, right? I teach women to take that kind of responsibility in the Women's Code. I see when women specifically get to a certain point and they can't find satisfaction, there's two things that they tend to do. They're going to blow up their relationship or they're going to blow up their career. Now, I know you work with a lot of men. What do men blow up?
Usually their relationship first. Usually their relationship with their spouse or the relationship with their family and or both. It's the number one thing I see with men, and I'm seeing the same thing that you are because we work with men and women as well. I see the same thing you are on the women's side as well. And it's because the grass is greener. We don't prioritize it. We haven't put any work there. And there's a whole bunch of other idiosyncrasies and desires that go along with that. I would say the number one thing high achieving men compromise is their relationship. It's the thing that they put last. It's the thing they don't prioritize. They take it for granted. The grass is greener. There's a billion different reasons. And men and women as well, but men really crave status, respect, and power and fear embarrassment. They just fear it. So it's easier to have superficial relationships. It's easier to think the grass is greener. It's easier to get the new shiny object. And I promise you, new and shiny, the grass is not greener. And try to water plastic plants and see if they'll grow. And so as opposed to nurturing the love they have and what brought them together in communication and walking hand in hand in life, I see high achieving men really nuke their relationship, and they're pretty shitty at it as well. You're talking to someone who damn near burned down Rome twice in my relationship. And we're now, whatever 1996 to today is, that's how far deep we're into it. So I can't do math.
26
years. 26 or 27 years. There we go. It's right there at it. And we've been married almost 22. And so my wife and I like to tease that we've been through 5 marriages. They're really one marriage, but 5 different seasons.
The seasons of marriages. Yes.
It takes a lot of awareness to do this. And it takes a lot of intestinal fortitude. Is you got to have a state of the union. And if you can't even have a state of the union, if you can't take a Saturday or Sunday or a Friday night and just, why is this relationship important? Remembering why we got into this relationship in the first place. What are we missing from this relationship now that we had so well? And I'm not talking about the lust when we first get together, when we're all rabbits and, we're learning each other. That's different. That's lust. That's not love. It's important. That's certainly important. But how important is this relationship? What are our goals in life and with each other? And are those even reconcilable anymore? Do we remember a time when we were happy and loved each other and just had hearts full of love and wanted to be around each other? Why are we not doing that now? Do we want to do that again? Will we make the commitment to do that? Do we even know what each other's love language is? I kept affirming my wife and it exhausted her because I'm a words of affirmation guy. I want to be told how pretty and important I am 24/7, which exhausted her. She's an acts of service. And now I make sure I bring her coffee every morning. I make sure I read our daily readings to her every morning. And I fill up her gas when I'm in her car. So it's little things that go a long way. So it's really having a state of the union. And I'm going to give a shout out to my dear friend and client, Tiffany Hoffine. She was my boss at Deloitte. And now she's an entrepreneur. I'm an entrepreneur, and we hang out as friends. She's a client. I work with her. But here's what they do, and I love it. Now, this takes a lot of intestinal fortitude. That's courage for courage. That's a word for courage, and you can do the rest. But they go on an air of grievances, a gratitude, and action walk every Sunday. And their walk is 3 miles. So the first mile and a quarter is air of grievances. The second, a mile and a quarter, is gratitudes for each other, the relationship, and all the wonderful things they do have. And the last, whatever percentage left, half a mile, is what are our action items, to-dos, and buy wins as a couple, because they are in business together as well. And I think having a State of the Union, because I promise you, the new person, the new shiny object, they're going to have their idiosyncrasies. They're going to have their desires. They're going to have you're going to have to relearn it all again. And it's easier. It's like a customer. It's easier keeping a customer, like really working with as opposed to going and getting a new one. And what I love about human beings is we're all crazy, and it's what level of crazy we can put up with. Right. And I want to make sure that the person I do life with, which is our third most important asset behind ourselves and our time, and the significant other are just as important, because we got to prioritize them. But having a State of the Union, is this worth fighting for? Is this worth rebuilding? Is this worth a priority? Are we still going in the same directions? Do we have the same core values? Do we have all of these? And do grievances and gratitudes, and maybe asking how I can love you better, and hearing the answer. But here's the thing. No one likes people who just talk. That's why we hate the media and politicians. They just talk and don't do. You got to go do. And if your relationship, or when my relationship was on the rocks, if I wouldn't have prioritized it, I would have lost it. And respect can always be earned. And the last thing I would say is forgive yourself. Let's lighten up on ourselves. We're so damn hard on ourselves, and we have trouble forgiving the mistakes. We say things we regret. We do things we regret. And it's easier just to cut it off and press reset and go find something new. And then we'll repeat the same behavior over and over again. But if we can prioritize ourselves, prioritize our time, and prioritize our relationships, nothing else will make us stronger. And so, but you got to be on the same page. You got to be.
Yeah, no, we're definitely on the same page here. I think that what I'm hearing you say is I am the one who is responsible for not just the decisions, but the rituals, or the lack of rituals, or the lack of discipline, or the lack of focus that creates the holes. Because if my understanding about spiritual laws is correct, if I screw up, doubt creeps in, doubt opens to fear, and then it's over, because then the subconscious takes over. You are overriding with these rituals. Correct. An old program. Am I getting this right?
Yeah, you're rewriting the story that's told to you. So everything that's in your brain that you tell yourself, I would say 70% of it's probably not true, because we're so brutally hard on ourselves. And any story that you tell, any belief that you have, any wiring that you have in there can be unwired. It can be rewired from fear to love. It can be from scarcity to abundance, from being scared to courage, from judgment to open-mindedness. I mean, anything can be, but we have to do it. Wherever you go, there you are. And if 95% of your thoughts and actions every day are the same as yesterday, nothing's going to get better until you change small habits to make it better. Second is you got to participate in your own rescue. No one's coming to save you. There is no magic pill, and there is no quick fix. However, if you get in the mental, emotional, spiritual, and physical gym every day, you will be fit. And number 3, going back to the relationships, is I'm a fan of how you do anything is how you do everything. But I promise you, if you do your daily habits, and they're fun, by the way, they become addictive and fun. Like if I don't do my daily readings, my meditation, my journaling, and reading to my wife every morning, I get off. I truly enjoy it. So you have to enjoy it in order to do it. Don't do something you're not going to enjoy. But when you do that, people are attracted to confidence. They're attracted to humility. And it will make you more attractive. It will make your relationship better. And you said something we have non-negotiables in our relationship, and my wife will call me out on them. We've renamed my insecure, arrogant alter ego Ike. She goes, is Ike talking to me this morning, or is that Tommy? Because I'd love to kill Ike if it's Ike. And so I've named my alter ego when I decide to get out of the bed and be mean or say something ridiculous or pick a sore. But number 1 is we show up for each other first. We're number 1. We show up. Phone rings and it's her, I'm going to answer it. We show up and we honor our commitments to ourselves. And number 2, we protect and defend our fort at all cost. She's never had a problem with this. Apparently, I'll let strays friends, families, and opportunities creep into my life that really want to take advantage of us, our businesses, or me. And so she'll whisper in my ear, protect and defend. And she's feeling that sense of, hey, we're about to let an enemy into the gates. And I think
her
those
spidey senses are excellent.
Yeah. And she's got excellent intuition. And so, and the last thing I'll say is when you honor your core values as best you can every day, when you show up in your alpha state every morning and work on you every single day, the compounding interest in every single aspect of your life will pay dividends that you can't even imagine, including in your relationship. And the great poet, going back to relationships to end it out, the great poet David Whyte, he's an Irish poet, and he says that relationships with your spouse or your significant other is a contest of generosity. So
I love that.
If you're communicating,
yeah,
you're net giving, you're learning love language, you're talking, you're doing things at each other. And you got to make sure, though, that your core values, where you want to go in life, your vision, purpose, and mission for the actual relationship and for you individually are in line. And if they're in line, I promise you, you can have the best relationship ever. It's talking to someone who's damn near blown it up twice.
Well, I mean, I certainly had my shares of blow ups until I realized that, you know, in my particular case, that my old trauma story just was so prevalent that every time it got triggered, I went into a repeat pattern because I knew. And I picked people that would play that pattern back at me, which was a really bad place to be. And so these relationships were not loving, and they were unpredictable, and they were mean. And until I kind of figured it out, that that's not the relationship I either wanted or be in. But I understand, you know, the concepts that you talk about. And I just want to make sure that we sum this all up, because this is a really different kind of an episode in that sense. We do talk about personal responsibility, but not personal responsibility in another to-do item. The personal responsibility you talk about a legendary life movement is about getting very clear on what it is that you want, telling yourself that it is there for you and that you deserve it, and then you give them the tools to actually do that.
100%. And you just said I was the same way as you. So I come from tough background, especially when I was a younger person. And there was a lot of negative messaging and trauma that happened in my life that I honestly believed that I wasn't lovable, worthy, valuable, or
100%. Yeah.
Didn't matter what was in my bank account.
Yeah.
And I carried an FU backpack. And everything around me was crumbling, and I was leaving a wake of destruction behind me because I was attracting that into my life. And as far as my relationship, and then I'm gonna get to the punchline, as far as my relationship, the women that appeared in my life, from my family members to the first people I dated, they hurt me in a lot of different ways, and so I always thought women, like I was projecting what happened to me onto every single woman. And that caused me to almost sabotage my relationship with Heather. I couldn't believe that someone would actually love me. So let me pull out the rug before she pulls it out from me.
I know, right?
Everybody else does. I got to rewire this negativity in my heart and mind. And it's at that moment when I decided to participate in my own rescue, when I made me the main thing. And it was the most selfless thing I've ever done. The last 13 years of my life, they've had their challenges, they've had their ups and downs, but it's 8 steps forward, 2 back, as opposed to 6 back, 4 forward. And you can rewire, you can create new habits, you can create new belief systems, and anything that was told you, you can rewrite the ending to your story. It's about drawing a line in the sand and moving forward.
Yeah. And I love that line, participate in your own rescue. So Tommy, I'm holding up the book for those of you who are on the audio and cannot see it. And the book is called Tommy Breedlove's Legendary. And it is a USA Today bestseller and a Wall Street Journal bestseller. So in any case, you want to get the book. What I loved about it, it actually says on the back, it says reading time 186 minutes. So there you go. So in 3 hours, 3 hours, you can get the gist of what it is. But where else can we find you? Somebody that heard you and said, I need to be with this guy in the retreat and figure out how I'm going to get out of my own way and participate in my own rescue. Where do they go?
I love that. I love that. Thank you for letting me share. First of all, if you're not a reader and you don't mind my Southern accent, I will read it to you on Audible, but the book is at all your favorite bookstores. And so let me read it to you. And here's the pro tip: is read the book fully through in 3 hours, or listen to it, and then go back and work the section that you need, because it's tactical, it's fun, and it's executable. I'm going to give you my main email address. It's tommy@livelegendary.today, and it's tommy@livelegendary.today. Come join our community. Come on into our fun adventure experiences. We do a lot of fun things, but we always have a component of leadership or self-mastery lean-ins. Or if you want to come and just go all in, And if you're ready, if you've got the intestinal fortitude and it's time to get clear on who you are, where you're going, connect with other high achievers, but also a master class on self-mastery and rewiring, come to our Legendary Life Foundational Retreat. We do them for men and women. That is the best thing we do. It's a 4-day vacation to you, from you, for you. And it's a full immersion. So get ready to step away from your business and life and leave there a whole lot more elite than you came. Email me directly, tommy@livelegendary.today.
Well, thank you so much for that. What a powerful episode. So there you have it all. This is Tommy. Tommy, it's been such a pleasure to have you on the show. Thank you so much for sharing your heart and soul and your insights.
Thank you for your vulnerability and authenticity. And I'm just so grateful to have been here.
Thank you so much. And that's it for today. Thank you, everybody. And if you heard something today where you feel my friend needs to hear this, just forward this to one other person and make sure that they get some insights of this. And that is it for us today. Until next time, and goodbye. Thank you for listening to or watching the show. We are so excited that you're here, and we are very grateful for you. Now it's our turn to ask you for help. Please do share this episode with one other person that needs to hear what we were talking about today. If there's any question you have about business, please do reach out to us and let us know. And don't forget to schedule your complimentary Uncovery session at uncoverysession.com, where one of our business growth advisors will help you to figure out what your number one business growth blocker is in only 15 minutes. And that's it for us today. Until next time.